All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show. If you're watching us on YouTube, whether probably not live at this very moment, but that's okay. You can go back and watch us. But if you're watching us on playback on YouTube, then go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we do go live with the Daily Show, when another video drops. It's another Freaky Friday with myself and Mr. Chad Bauman. Chad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I've been basically played Halo all day.
Bro, I haven't played Halo in forever.
So I haven't. So basically, I hadn't either. Um, I bought Halo 5 like when it came out, but I was like, I want to like me and my brother started playing through all of the Halo games
Yeah.
when Halo 5 came out, and we just like never got to finish. And then what happened? Then by the time like Halo Legends or Halo Infinite came out, I ended up buying Halo Infinite, but like I was like, I still need to beat Halo 5. And then so then like last week we ended up beating Halo 5 finally, and then we started playing Halo Infinite. But he didn't want to play today, so I've basically just been playing multiplayer. Now it reminds me when I was in like 8th grade in high school playing
Yeah.
playing Halo 3
I
all night.
I enjoyed Halo Infinite's multiplayer a lot, especially when it came out. I just kind of got burnt out on it because I played it so much in a small amount of time, and they just never added anything new to it. And then
Yeah.
I'm kind of waiting, hoping that maybe some more stuff gets added. Our boy Marsman has been on top of the 343 and Halo news, so shout out Marsman and everything he's doing with the Vendetta gaming stuff. But
I will say this. I don't like how I mean, I don't like I haven't played Halo multiplayer since like Halo 3. I basically played Halo 4, 5, and now Infinite. Well, with the exception of today, I played Halo 4 and 5 just for like the story, the campaign. I didn't really play those online. But I will say this one thing that I'm not a fan of is like they kind of went to like that. Uh, I guess it's not exactly like Call of Duty because you can still. Well, I don't know. I haven't played Call of Duty online since high
mm,
school either. But like used to be like Halo used to be able to play like, oh, I want to play this type of game. Like I want to play Slayer, which is like their death match, or I want to play Capture the Flag or whatever. But this like they only have it like it's randomized like whatever the game type is. So like if you want to play
yeah,
deathmatch, you have to play like
yeah, it like
Capture the
cycles
Flag
through
12.
the game modes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they rotate it. Like that's the one thing I don't like because I was like, I don't want to play captures the flag. I suck at captures the flag. I want to play deathmatch. That's what I'm good at.
yeah. My favorite thing for a Halo multiplayer, and I love this to death. It was SWAT. That's my game mode, SWAT. So it's like DMRs or like the BR, no HUDs. So it's like a hardcore game mode, and it's headshots or instant kills. That is
Was that a built-in one that came with the game, or that
uh
was just like a personal challenge y'all did?
that was one they added that all the way back in Halo 3. So like that's when I started playing SWAT,
Oh,
was in
really?
Halo 3. And so I played it a bunch in Halo 3. Halo Reach to me is like that's like the S tier SWAT because you had like the single shot DMR. It was just immaculate and
On
beautiful.
I never played that game mode. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't even
Yeah,
remember it being
it's
on the game
I'm
disc.
if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I played Halo Infinite. I'm pretty sure it's in Halo Infinite and was, if not at launch, soon after it was added. And I went absolutely crazy when that came out. And that is my game mode. That is what I play. I play SWAT. Whenever SWAT was added to Halo, that was mine. Now I played the others as well with my friends too, but even if I was playing by myself, I'd always just go with SWAT because that was my game mode. And I don't know why. It just was. It was like the mode that I was good at, I guess. Whatever.
That's
Uh so we'll move on to some sporting news now. Chad, this kind of hits home with you a little bit. This first one, there has been a lot of talk the past 2 days. It really started, I think it was a comment by Cam Hayward of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was talking about the QB sneak, and then it kind of gained more traction because Colin Cowherd started talking about it. And I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he said something along the lines of, oh, it's too much of an assured thing, and the NFL doesn't like assured things. It's why they move the extra point back as far as they did. And now there's more misses. It makes it more exciting. And then, like, you started talking about like things like, doing away with the hand check in the NBA, moving away with the shift in Major League Baseball is like, these sports, they don't like assured things or whatever. And so, Chad, I just wanted your perspective because the Eagles, and now we talked a little bit about it before the show, the Eagles kind of do it a little bit differently than what other teams do when it comes to their QB sneak, but everything is legal under the modern rules. What the Eagles were doing had a lot of success. They went like 7 for 7 in the Super Bowl on QB sneak attempts.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
It's something crazy like that because I remember a friend of mine, we were watching it together, and the announcers were like, they're 30 for 35 coming into the year. And like every time they would do it, it's like, okay, now they're
so
like
I
31
know
to
they weren't
36.
perfect going into the Super Bowl. I think they were like 34 of like 37. It was something like
it
that.
was
But they weren't perfect.
they'd only failed like 4 or 5 times
Yeah, it
and
was like
tried
four
over
of them.
30 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just like want your thoughts, what you think about potentially. Obviously, they wouldn't get rid of it. That would just be really stupid if they got rid of the QB sneak, but maybe changing the rule to where you can't have like 2 or 3 guys lined up behind the quarterback and just kind of shove them forward.
I honestly, I think it's dumb, and I could be wrong because we talked about this a little bit before the show, but I could be wrong. And my understanding from what came out from like the NFL, like I want to say it was Mike Pereira, who's not like officiate. He's not like with the NFL. It was like one of the NFL like officiating people came out and said we're gonna look at this to make the change because it's what does it do? They said specifically something like, "Oh, it doesn't make for like an entertaining game.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all about entertainment. So it doesn't make for entertain. Like it doesn't make we care. Like the NFL is about entertaining with skill and athleticism, and this isn't like the way the Eagles do the QB sneak, which is you have like a really packed in condensed formation, and everybody just pushes Jalen Hurts forward versus like normal QB sneak. You might have like an extra back, lined up a little bit closer to the quarterback in case of a fumble or something like that, sort of like a protection. But his job isn't really to like push the QB forward like the Eagles do. So my thing is I think that if your whole thing is, so I think it's bullshit. Basically, let me say, like, go ahead and start with that.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it feels like a whole lot of the Eagles were doing this really well. Because when you look at other teams' QB sneaks, no other team QB sneaks like the Eagles. We're the only one that used this very specific formation. Now, could other teams try it? Maybe. Would they have the same success? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know a lot of quarterbacks that squat 600 pounds. Like we just happen to have the best O line in the game and a quarterback that squats 600 pounds. But so that's the first thought that comes to mind. It just kind of feels like, oh, we saw the Eagles having a lot of success with this. We kind of just don't want that to happen anymore because we don't want the Eagles to have success. I guarantee if it was Pat Mahomes doing this, we'd be hearing all the time about, oh, Pat Mahomes going to Canton because he's the greatest QB sneaker since the QB sneak was invented in 1942.
Yeah.
But it's Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. We weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl, so they got to find a way to knock us down a peg. That's the first thing. The second part about it, the thing about it, we want to see athleticism and skill and build an entertaining game, and that's why we want to get rid of it. Well, my thing would be is that when you think about it, if the Eagles get into a 4th and 1 from the 50-yard line, it's more entertaining for them to pick that first down up with the QB sneak because now you're just increasing their chance for a touchdown. And I thought, and you could say what you want, but we all know what it is anymore. Defense wins championships, whatever. But it's an offensive league.
Yeah,
and like it's just like basketball. Everything fucking changes. So like the offense has the advantage. Every single rule, like almost every single rule they've ever came out with, it feels like, at least since like I was a kid, was geared towards making the offense's life easier.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring up the same thing that you said, because it made the Super Bowl more entertaining because how many scoring drives did the Eagles have where they converted on a 4th or 3rd down and short with that, especially on their final touchdown scoring drive where they got the 2-point conversion to tie the game up? There was at least 2 times, I think. I know one for sure because I believe that was the touchdown that they got.
I don't know. I
I,
can't tell you, but it was a lot. They went for it on fourth down a
yeah,
lot,
yeah.
and they got it because of the QB sneak.
I know. So it's like it's
And not to
counterproductive.
mention, not to cut you off, my bad,
No, you're good.
but there was the one drive where they punted on the 4th and 3. If they had a 4th and 1, they would have extended that drive.
100%. And that kind of goes along with, if you're the defense, kind of do your job and don't let a team like the Eagles that has a good offensive line and a quarterback that is super athletic, can run and can squat 600 pounds. Don't let them get like close to the point where that's in the repertoire. That needs to be in the back of your mind to do that, and that needs to be on the coaching staff. It's like we can't let them get third and short, fourth and short situations, especially deep down the field on our side. I feel like I don't know. It's like it feels counterproductive to like change that in a way or to say that it's not as entertaining, because again, it saved. Well, I mean, ultimately, sorry to bring up old wounds, but the Eagles lost the Super Bowl, but they stayed in the game multiple times because they got a fourth down conversion or a third and short conversion to extend the drive, continue it, and then Jalen Hurts would go down and do something and they would score and they would keep the game close. That was entertaining to me. And I was laughing at how amazingly they were executing it every single time. It felt like the Chiefs would pack 11 guys, all 11 guys at the same spot in the line on defense. And Jalen Hurts would still just get 2 to 3 yards at a time running
Yeah,
it.
it's like that. I forget what game it was this year, but it's like that soundbite of Jason Kelsey when they come to the line. I think it might have been the Dallas game or it might have been the Vikings game. Jason Kelsey comes to the line and he's like, you know what's coming, and they line up, they QB sneak, and they get the touchdown off of it. But I mean, you're right, because think about that Super Bowl. The Eagles defense, they couldn't fucking stop the
No.
Chiefs to save their life in
No.
that second quarter. And think about how much of a blowout that game would have been if it wasn't for the Eagles' ability to go for it on fourth down and pick it up.
Yeah.
We'd have been looking at like a 28 point, victory by the Chiefs.
Mhm.
I would not have been happy with that, and I know the league would not have been happy with that. That would have been the most boring fucking game imaginable.
No, and by all means, until the absolute very end of the game, it was one of the best Super Bowls that had been put on TV. It was very entertaining.
And let's not get it twisted though, too. Like again, their explanation is, oh, we want to see skill and athleticism. Well, granted, QB sneak probably doesn't take that much skill to execute. I mean, maybe from the offensive lineman perspective, you got to get low and get your pads underneath the defensive lineman, that kind of thing. But at the same time, like, are feats of strength not, considered athleticism anymore? Like you don't have to be like strong. Like strength isn't athleticism anymore. Like if that's the case, take the fucking bench press out of the combine, right?
Yeah.
Like what are we talking
Yeah.
about?
And I guess also I don't see too much of a difference if like, the running back and like a running back and a linebacker run into each other and there's a stalemate where he's just kind of stuck, but the play isn't blown dead. And then a bunch of offensive linemen run in and push him forward to try to score a touchdown.
Yeah,
I guess
mean, no, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because that happens routinely.
Yeah, and I don't see too much of a difference between what the Eagles were doing in their situation with the quarterback sneak in that, because if you're talking about you want to see skill, well, shouldn't it just be the defenders and then the running back and the offensive lineman don't do anything to try to push the pile forward? Because
I mean,
because how many times have we seen plays extend like not just like into the end zone, but just like 5, 6, 10 yards? It's like a second and 8, and it ends up like an 11-yard gain.
Exactly, because let's think about that. A lot of times when that happens, so we talk about a runner can be ruled down by loss of forward progress, right? So, like in your example, if a linebacker meets the running back in the hole, stops his forward momentum, and you see it all the time, 1 or 2 seconds go by, the running back stood up, and then someone comes back from behind him and pushes him forward, they get those extra yards. You don't immediately say, oh, his forward progress was stopped, let's take away those extra yards. So they're basically saying it's okay to do like that, but because the QB has the ball, it's no longer okay.
Yeah, It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, I mean, if you're just trying to get rid of all this, like, hard nose, hit them in the mouth football. Let's just go to flag football. We played flag football in the Pro Bowl this year. No, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it wasn't even flag football. Well, it was flag football, but it was like it was 7-on-7.
Yeah,
Like, we
and
just go to 7-on-7. Take linemen out of the fucking game altogether. You get a running back, some fucking wideouts, and a quarterback, and that's football from now on.
yeah, and the defense is just all skill position guys. It's just all corners and safeties. No one
Right,
else.
like, fuck it. We don't. Well, maybe you get linebackers because you may have a tight end, but you get
Eh.
one. We go like arena rules. You get one fucking
Yeah.
linebacker in every
Yeah.
league.
Speaking of arena, AFL is coming back. The Arena Football League is returning. I saw that like earlier in the week.
I didn't even know they were like closed down.
Yeah, they closed for a couple years.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I
Like,
saw the
I don't know,
announcement.
I'm not trying to I'm not trying to hate on like arena football because I know like there's not a lot. I mean, there's a few guys that, Kurt Warner is obviously the guy that comes to mind. Played in the Arena League, came into the NFL. I mean, great story. I still don't think he should have been a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
but well, I mean, maybe not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I know I don't agree that Kurt Warner should have been a Hall of Famer, but I know a lot of people like to be mad at me for saying that, so I'll give you Hall of Famer. Just he shouldn't have been a first rounder. Fucking what's his name? Chris Carter fucking was on the wait list for years before he got in. Kurt Warner gets in the first ballot, and he's had like fucking Hall of Fame wide receivers everywhere he went.
I mean,
I'm getting off topic.
My man Zach Thomas, he got passed on, I think, two or three times he's been on the ballot before he finally got in this year. And which, I mean, I know he wasn't like the Dolphins weren't winning much, when he played, but still.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean,
great
I like I said, I'm getting off topic because like I could talk for days about why Kurt Warner shouldn't be a fucking Hall of Famer, but like I said, I think
that's the off-season lead word, episode 1. Why Kurt Warner shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. It's just an hour and a half.
I mean, I just I don't get it. I think you can't take this away, and because I guarantee you it's gonna they're gonna vote on it. It's gonna pass. But again, for me, it just feels like hey, we didn't want the Eagles in the Super Bowl. That's who we got. So let's make sure we make it harder for them to get back, next year.
Well, regardless of what happens, if it is changed or for whatever reasons it's changed, it's a stupid reason why it's changed. And I think common sense NFL fans agree that it's stupid if it does get changed. It should not be changed. Find ways to stop it. This is what I say. And you know what? If I'm the Eagles, I would love if they were averaging like 3 yards a carry doing that. You can run that play 4 times and you get a first down every single time. If you're averaging 3 yards, just do it all the way down the field as like a big middle finger to everybody.
I mean, and let's also be honest too. It's not like they're running it from like fucking 4th and 1 from the 11-yard line from their 11-yard line.
Yeah, no.
Like it doesn't come out until they get to half field. So if you let's say there's a kickoff, right? You get, touchback, you get the ball at the 25. You have 25 yards to stop them from having that play in contention.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, 25 yards in the NFL nowadays is, it's like one play half the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time,
it's doable. It's doable.
Yes, you can stop them. Obviously, you can stop them because the fucking Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like if it's that great of a fucking play, we'd be talking about here. I'd have been to a parade on Broad Street on Thursday. Like, I'd have been like, it would have been a different world that we live in.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on from this talk. That way, you can recover a bit more from your wounds there. But we'll keep it in football here with this next bit. Eric Bieniemy, longtime offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs, just won his 2nd Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Looks to be on the move. I believe his official title, he's moving to the Washington Commanders, and his official title will be assistant head coach and also the offensive coordinator. So he'll be the play caller. And I guess this news kind of leaves everyone scratching their head a little bit because it feels like a move where it's like, oh, well, you're a good coordinator, but you need to prove that you can handle a bit more responsibility with another team, or maybe they're not giving Bieniemy, the props, and they're giving all of the props to Andy Reid, even though in a lot of the post Super Bowl talk, Andy Reid was really hyping up Eric Bieniemy and talking how great he is and how intricate his input is on some of the plays, some of the scoring plays in the Super Bowl for Kansas City. So, Chad, what are your feelings about now? You have Bieniemy in division too, so you'll be seeing him twice a year now.
I mean, there's a couple things. First things first, I think Eric Bieniemy's like long overdue. Obviously, like I don't know how he. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was a like he just didn't want to leave Kansas City kind of thing. I mean, I don't think that's probably the case, but maybe that's. I don't. You know, I'm not in his inner circle. I'm not. I'm not his wife. I'm not his kid. I don't. I don't like. I haven't had this personal conversation. Hey, pops, what are you doing in this off season, right? Um, but if I'm the Cardinals, like, what the fuck, bro? You watch Jonathan Gannon get his absolute fucking ass kicked by Eric Bieniemy's offense, and then said, "Hey, we want that fucking guy." Like, don't get me wrong. I think I'm kind of like glad to see Jonathan Gannon go. Like, I have mixed feelings because like obviously like he had like the number 2 overall defense, number 1 passing defense, number 1 in the league in sacks, but a lot of that was just talent, right?
Yeah,
Like fucking 11 guys over 11 guys over 10 sacks, and they were all defensive linemen. You know,
crazy.
That's not scheme. That's just those guys are really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he had a linebacker that was getting, 11 sacks. That would be like, okay, Jonathan Gannon did something there because you got to know when to call the blitzes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't get how you let I don't get how if you're the Cardinals, you let Eric Bieniemy out of the state. Like,
yeah,
you hear about back in the, people doing shady, underhanded things like high school football teams, like they'll have cops go. And I don't know if you watch Friday Night Lights, the TV show at all.
Yeah.
That one episode where like the cops go and they try to arrest Smash. After the game because like he scored a bunch of touchdowns. If I'm the fucking Cardinals, I'm getting the state troopers to pull over the Kansas City Chiefs bus on the way to the airport so Eric Bieniemy can't make it out to state. So hey Eric, come have a talk real quick. We'll bail you out if you come be our head coach.
Yeah. What should have happened is while they're still at the stadium and Eric Bieniemy is up there, the trophy's going around and everything. It's like, hey Eric, what are the dimensions for your new desk? Like, let's go look at your office real quickly. Like here in the stadium, let's just take a walk down the corridor here, and we can get measurements for your desk, your setup, whatever you want. That's what it should have been, 100%. And especially the league and you kind of hinted at it earlier with a lot of rule changes. It's becoming more offensive oriented, offensive minded. And so a lot of these teams are moving towards head coaches that have offensive backgrounds. And if you're wanting to keep up with the times, why not go get a guy that has coached 2 teams to winning Super Bowls? And like you said, took a great offense, of course, had Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, but really, honestly, let's be real, not too many other great weapons outside of them two. And decimated one of the top 2-3 defenses in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Why not go get that guy and add him, especially because they extended Kyler Murray, so it's like, what's the deal with that? Is the new guy that's coming in defensive minded? Is he going to help your guy grow? How married are you to Kyler Murray now? You're kind of stuck with him. I feel like I don't know if anyone's going to be willing to take on that money.
I don't think you're not going to get a realistic. Well, I don't want to say realistic. You're not going to get like the trade that they would want for Kyler Murray. They're not going to get. Basically, what I'm trying to say. And I don't. Maybe it's kind of like an overcorrection. Like they went offensive minded with Cliff Kingsbury, and we saw how that turned out. Like Jonathan Gannon's he's like the overcorrection, the swerve way in the other direction. Just saying like, hey, we had the offensive guy. We want the defensive guy now. I don't know. But like I said, if I'm the Cardinals, he doesn't leave the state. Like I would have fucking tasered him on the field before I let him leave the state. But I mean, for him though, so it's weird because I already thought he was Andy Reid's assistant head coach. I didn't realize he wasn't. Because when I first heard, I was like, okay, that's a lateral move. He's still offensive coordinator. He's the assistant head coach. He was already, but apparently he's not. So it is an upgrade for him in title, to go from whatever he was his role with the Chiefs was to the Commanders. But I mean, again, if I'm the Commanders, and I mean, this is just them being a piss poor franchise. What has Ron Rivera really done that you're like, why are we keeping this guy? Like
Yeah.
I guess was it last year or the year before they won the division, but they got bounced out of the playoffs. His teams are a fucking absolute dumpster fire. Like
Yeah.
they fucking fall apart every year.
Yeah, and I guess in their mind, if I'm trying to put myself in the Commander's shoes, which first off, I never want to actually be in Snyder's shoes. I don't. He's a terrible owner, so I would never want to be him, even in a pretend world.
Not even a terrible owner. He's also a terrible person.
He's a terrible person. Yes,
Terrible at both.
He's terrible. So I would never want to actually be on those shoes. But I guess from an organizational standpoint, they've like some of their star players, like Chase Young, has dealt with injuries, and they try to go out and get quarterbacks, and none of them have panned out. Carson Wentz didn't pan out. They have Sam Howell, and they seem committed to him. We'll see how that goes. But then, of course, they had Tyler Heineke as well, who's probably been the most successful quarterback of the past like 2-3 seasons, because he at least kept them competitive in that playoff game against the Bucs a few years ago. So, but I don't know. Maybe they just think that, oh, it's a young team, and maybe they see them as overachieving because of Rivera. But who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and two, what is they don't really have a quarterback, like you said.
No.
Like, I don't know, like who's gonna play quarterback? They can't draft one. They don't have the position to draft one. I mean, maybe they do the Rodgers trade.
Maybe, or Derek Carr's a free agent. I know he's visiting with the Jets.
Yeah,
he's visiting with the Jets. So, but maybe he looks at the rest of the division as like, I'll pass and I'll go to somewhere else where he might have a better shot. Which again, like that division, the NFC East would not be easy as well because of Philly and New York made the playoffs, and the Cowboys. It's hard to ever tell with the Cowboys, but it wouldn't be an easy. Division.
I mean, it's fair to say the Cowboys are a good team. They just have a really shitty coach.
Yes. Cowboys would actually like frighten me as a team if they actually moved off of McCarthy and went and got someone like Eric Bieniemy.
Right.
That would actually be frightening. But I don't know what Washington's doing, but they're hanging on for whatever reason. But hopefully this is the final stop before Bieniemy becomes a head coach. I agree with you. I think he's long overdue, and the fact that sometimes he doesn't even get an interview is insane to me.
Right.
So
I'm honestly though, I'm just glad he didn't end up with the Texans.
Yeah, which isn't Cliff Kingsbury isn't he going to Houston?
I want to say he interviewed, but I don't know if he actually signed with them as their OC.
I think I remember seeing him going for an interview, but I can't remember if I saw news on if it was actual. Like,
yeah, I only just remember that I only remember like the tweet that said he's flying back from, where did he go? Thailand.
Yeah, he's like Thailand. I think it's Thailand.
It's like wherever he went, they said he's coming back for an interview. I don't know if maybe they might have, and I just might have missed it, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think it's a travesty that Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a head coaching offer yet. And I'm worried too, because like I said, this Washington Commanders team, the entire organization is a dumpster fire. Like, it's fucking hot garbage. Like, Eric Bieniemy, like you kind of mentioned it. There were some times where like Eric Bieniemy couldn't even get a fucking interview. He's not getting head coaching offers. Like, I'm kind of concerned. Like, this Washington team, like this past year, like I don't care who was at quarterback, like they were never going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're not a good team. Their organization's not run well. Their head coach has his head so far up his ass he can see out his mouth. Like I I don't want Eric Bieniemy to get caught up in it and then sets his whole fucking career back
Yeah.
because the fucking Commanders suck and their offense is terrible just because they're a bad fucking team.
Yeah, and who knows? Again, maybe he got some feedback in some of the few interviews that he had in jobs that he didn't get, where maybe again coaches wanted to see what he would do on a team that was maybe in Washington's case not necessarily like full-fledged rebuild, like they are kind of rebuilding because they didn't make the playoffs, and so they got to go out now and try to figure out a way, and they may be getting a new quarterback, who knows. But maybe they just wanted to see what he would do in a situation like Washington, where it's a mediocre team, a team that has no hope of winning anything at all. And maybe they want to see what he does in that environment. And again, maybe they're putting too much on Andy Reid, which I'm not taking anything against or off of Andy Reid, but just too much on Andy Reid and not enough on Bieniemy, or they don't buy what Reid is saying about Bieniemy when it comes to the construction of the offense and the offensive scheme week to week. So who knows? But yeah, I agree. Hopefully this doesn't derail his career in any way, or who knows? Maybe Derek Carr does come there, or maybe Sam Howell steps out there and Bieniemy. That offense just looks absolutely phenomenal. They're a top 10 offense when he moves in there, and maybe they don't win the division, but they're like the first or second wild card team in, and then maybe they make some noise in the playoffs or something like that. Who knows? We're a long ways away from figuring that out. It was a pretty slow news day when it came to sports, but NBA All-Star Weekend is this weekend. I am and I'm not really excited about it. I'm excited as a Grizzlies fan because I've got two dudes, John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., that are in the All-Star game, but sometimes it feels like the NBA just doesn't care about its own product, which is weird to say because they're a business and they absolutely do care about their product. I mean, like they were going to lose billions of dollars from China, and Daryl Morey lost his job because, or not because of this, but like was threatened to, or like the China was threatening the NBA to make him lose his job, and they were saying a bunch of stuff, and the NBA was kind of like quiet about everything and whatnot. But the 3-point contest is coming up soon, and this is just kind of like a personal thing that I had. Out of the top 10 3-point shooters in the league for the 3-point contest, they announced the list. Out of the top 10 3-point shooters in the NBA, only one of them is in the 3-point contest. Only one. And that is Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield. Chad, I will read off to you the 3-point participants. So we have Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, as I just mentioned, Kevin Huerter, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Jason Tatum, and it originally was Anthony Simons from Portland, but he is injured, and so they grabbed Julius Randle as his replacement. And some of these 3-point shooters, in terms of percentages with even high volume shooting, they aren't even in the top 50 of 3-point shooters in the league.
Real quick, who are the top 10 guys? I have like an idea of who I think might be in there, but I just want to make sure, like I want to see who those guys are. Do you have that?
Yeah, so the top 10 in 3-point shooting are, so number 1 is Malcolm Brogdon for Boston, which I have the receipts on Trey saying that he thinks that was an awful signing and he hated it. And right now, Malcolm Brogdon, I want to say, is the favorite for 6th man of the year, betting wise. I can't remember the last time I looked at odds, but he now leads the NBA shooting 2% off of 50% for the year. So it's Malcolm Brogdon, Isaiah Joe, number 2, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, number 3, number 4, the newest Memphis Grizzly, Luke Kennard. Number 5 is Damian Lee, Desmond Bane, Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Alec Burks, and Joe Harris. That rounds out the top 10.
Okay.
Steph, I understand because he's injured, so he can't participate. Now there is like some other guys that are in the competition. So like Anthony Simons was going to be in the competition. Damian Lillard was going to be. Jason Tatum. They shoot threes at a fairly high volume. The problem is just like their 3-point percentage is kind of down, so it's
Right.
almost negating the fact like they're taking a lot of threes, and the fact that they've made a lot of threes. It's just because of pure volume. Like Jason Tatum is
Joe
shooting.
Harris isn't injured, is he?
I don't know. I don't know if he is right now.
I don't know why you wouldn't ask him. He won it. What was it like? 4
I don't know.
years ago. Like, why not say, hey, you won it a while back? Why don't you come in? You're in the top 10 in shooting. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
And
I mean, maybe it's like, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, he won it last year. Maybe they're like, hey, we can branch out to some of these centers and some of these power forwards and see what they got and see if we give them a shot.
Yeah, and the more I look at this, the more I'm understanding what the NBA is doing. They are trying to tell everyone that volume is more important than efficiency, because Julius Randle is 11th in 3-pointers made with 161, but he's attempted 447, which is good for a whopping 33% from the field. And 33% in the modern NBA is not good. That is below average. So the fact that Julius Randle gets in here again tells me that the NBA is telling its fans and its players, everybody, that volume is more important than efficiency. If efficiency was in here, Malcolm Brogdon, Isaiah Joe, one of those guys at a minimum would have been a replacement.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I feel like that's kind of like the fifth grade kind of like, oh, you haven't learned fractions and percentages yet. So it's like any fifth grader is like, oh, he's got the most points, like, oh, so he's got to be really good. But no, he shot the ball 100 times, or he shot the ball 100 times and he made, 20 baskets. That's why he has the most points.
Exactly. And I just, as an NBA fan, it feels like the NBA is screwing up its own product sometimes. I know we've talked about it in Slack before, where the NBA is just slowly delving into this, I don't know, this Twitter nonsense, and it's like cannibalizing itself, and it's the game and the discourse around it is sometimes just not fun to be around.
Yeah, and I guess I'll play like devil's advocate a little bit here, like just for the NBA. We don't want to use percentage, because then that opens it up for a guy to have 100% from the 3-point line, but he's only shot 2 and he's made 2 on the season. So then you end up with a role player in the 3-point contest, and everybody's like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, but my counterpoint to this, I have to look up the contestants because I can't even remember. Let's see. The dunk contest. Have you seen the participants for the dunk contest?
No, I haven't.
It is Kenyon Martin Jr., Matt McClung, who was just signed by the Philadelphia 76ers a week ago.
He's not even in the NBA though. He's in there he's like a blue hen, isn't he? Like their G League team.
Yeah, no, but like last week or like 2 weeks ago, I think the 76ers converted his contract to be like a full-time NBA contract. I don't know if they're going to send him down anymore. And then Trey Murphy from the Pelicans and Jericho Sims from the Knicks.
Okay, yeah, that's
so
that's that great of a lineup.
So
I think Mac McClung is like the only guy on that list that I'm actually like, I know who that is.
Yeah, I mean, I know Kenyon Martin and Trey and Jericho Sims. I've heard the name like once or twice before. I don't know his number. I can't recall like anything that he's done really, which I mean, he's in the NBA, so kudos to him. But it doesn't make sense to me, because you have something like the dunk contest that everyone usually gets excited for, or at least we did like 5-10 years ago. And they have the most role players, guys that are playing 10 minutes a game, a full game, 10 minutes, and they're getting put on the biggest stage out there in All-Star Weekend. And I get it. You can't have it just all role players in the 3-point contest. Like, it can't just be like, you can't have Malcolm Brogdon, Isaiah Joe, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Luke Kennard, especially like Luke Kennard. While his percentage is high, his usage is fairly low. So I understand that, but they have to find this happy medium to where you can have like, okay, you can have Damian Lillard out there, Steph Curry, like obviously some of the best 3-point shooters out there, but then it's like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, like you're bringing in stars like Jason Tatum, like Julius Randle, but it's like the percentages just aren't there. They're 34% and below in percentages, and this is supposed to be a contest between the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, which even when Joe Harris was winning these things, it's not like he was necessarily a household name. He wasn't going to All-Star games. He was just showing up for the 3-point contest, winning, and then would go on a quick like 3-day vacation before it was time to come back to play games.
And I don't like, I mean, I could have missed it. Clay's not injured, right?
Clay's not injured, I don't think, but I know there were some people, and by some people I mean Warriors fans, that were upset that he missed, but
that's my thing. Like, what, like, again, if you're looking to get people in that have some name recognition, some brand recognition, I mean, he's not like he's obviously not Steph Curry, but Clay can shoot.
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather see Klay Thompson in the 3-point contest than Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Hell, if they could have put fucking Carl, they could have put Cat back in. At least he has like he's got like the brand recognition to be at least be like, hey, he fucking won it last year.
I do. I also am on the thing where it's like, if you win, you should get like a first invitation. So Cat should have gotten like an invitation to come defend his title.
Oh yeah, they should definitely
like,
do that.
Like,
if you win the dunk contest or win the 3-point contest, you automatically just get
it's an automatic invitation
for
next year.
For the next year.
Yeah, and if you decline it, then that's on you, and then they can move on and find someone else. But and then like for some of these like good 3-point shooters, so like Kentavious Caldwell Pope, he was legitimately mad on Twitter that he didn't even get an invitation. So it's like it's not like they're scrambling to find names. They just didn't invite these guys it's their job to shoot 3-pointers, and they're good at shooting threes. So it's like they're just not even inviting these guys. They're afterthoughts to the NBA.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It doesn't make any sense. Like I mean, obviously, like there's been so much going on with football. I haven't paid too much attention to the NBA, but like I do know that like I had heard Julius Randle was in the 3-point contest, but like I said, I didn't realize it was kind of like I didn't even know who was in the dunk contest. Like I said,
yeah,
I knew Mac McClung had made it because like I saw like a tweet about him being like the only G League player to ever get like an invitation or something like that. But yeah, the NBA is weird. Like I feel like the only league, the professional sports league that has like worse marketing and brand recognition is the MLB.
Yeah. The baseball's terrible. Just talk to Trey about that, about how bad the MLB is about promoting its own products. And it just confuses me because like on the one hand, I get it. You're trying to promote the biggest stars. So yeah, Jason Tatum's in there. Yeah, Damian Lillard.
But can you even really say that though? Because they did it for the 3-point contest, but that they got Joe Schmo in the
that's what confuses me. That's why I'm confused. I say, if you're gonna get dudes that play 10 minutes a game, but it has like a 47-inch vertical, then why not get a dude? Why not put the 10 best shooters out there that are only gonna miss like 1 or 2 of their shots off the racks, the entire racks, and like have a really good shootout? Not put Julius Randle out there that's gonna put up a dozen points in the first round and be out after the first round. Let me ask,
what is the if they go to the dunk contest and the 3-point contest, they don't get like a bonus for actually just showing up for that, do they? Like the NBA doesn't pay them a bonus for showing up. They only get like they get cash if they win it, right?
I think they do if they win it, but I don't know. What?
Maybe that's kind of like their thing. Is they're like, if they pay them a certain amount based on just showing up, maybe they're like, hey, we don't want to invite all these really good guys because they'll want more money than all the really bad guys. So they kind of like split it. They were like, okay, we'll get nobodies for the dunk contest, and we'll invite the big names for the 3-point contest.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what it is. This is just for the dunk contest. I would guess it's probably similar money for the 3-point contest as well. But it's the winner gets a $100,000 prize, and then of course the trophy. The runner up gets 50,000, and then third and fourth place get 20,000 apiece.
Okay.
So it's like not like crazy money, especially to someone like a Jason Tatum, like a Damian Lillard. Like Damian Lillard could win that 100,000 and then literally spend it on the way out of the city, which it's Utah, so there's not really, I feel like, not places to go blow it, but you know.
Well, I mean, he'll James Harden will be there. He'll tell him where all the good strip clubs are.
James Harden will find a way.
Yes.
Even in a state run by Mormons, James Harden will find a way.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like it is kind of like it is kind of like mind boggling. It's like I don't
don't know.
I keep trying. Like I said, I tried to play devil's advocate, but it's like I can't come up with a good reason.
Yeah. The only thing that I could think of when it comes to the dunk contest is that the NBA kind of shot itself in the foot back with the LaVine and Aaron Gordon stuff, where LaVine won it a couple years in a row, and Aaron Gordon, and like people were like really turned off because I think a lot of players really felt like Aaron Gordon should have won, or there were like, there's just been moments here and there where there were really good dunks and guys didn't get the scores that other people thought they deserved. Because I remember Ja tweeting about that one time, is because like someone did a really,
how is he not in the dunk contest?
He doesn't want to do it. Like,
oh, so did they at least ask him and he just said no?
He came out on Twitter like before, like it was like after his rookie season. He's like, yeah, I don't want to do it. He's like, unless they pay me like an egregious amount of money to do it, because a lot of it is like a pride thing too. Like, you know, you lose like to other people, you know, and stuff like that. You kind of like are looked less upon, even though it's just a goofy competition where you win kind of what's essentially pennies to some of these bigger stars in 100,000. But
yeah. I mean, too, I guess, I mean, I don't know if this, I'm not an NBA player. I don't know if maybe this goes into their thinking at all. I mean, I guess there would be more risk of injury in the dunk contest than there would be in the 3-point contest, just because, you know, I mean, you could practice a dunk 1,000 times in a row. You do it right 999 times, and then just on that 1,000th time, you just come down bad on your, you know, ankle or something, or just lose focus for a second, come down bad, and next thing you know, that's, you know, your season's out the window.
You go for the jump, and all of a sudden your Achilles explodes, and not just your season, but your career is at risk.
Yeah, so maybe that plays a factor in it.
I'm sure it does, and I will leave this discussion with this. Never forget that they once rolled out Draymond Green and Kevin Hart to compete in the 3-point contest, and Draymond Green lost to Kevin Hart.
That wasn't like an actual part of the contest, though, wasn't it?
It wasn't. It was just like a goofy thing. Right? Yeah, but still,
NBA scripted. So is the NFL. That's all I got to say.
It's all just a big old script. But Chad, you got anything else you want to discuss? I know you said you're going to see Ant-Man later, so
yeah, we got tickets to that. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, tell me how it goes. I haven't watched too much Marvel recently. I've got Wakanda Forever. I still need to watch it. Yeah, there's a couple shows I need to catch up on, but I'm too busy watching like The Last of Us, and there's a new golf documentary that just came out on Netflix that I want to watch. Yeah. So, but
I gotta watch Wakanda Forever. I haven't seen that yet. I still have to finish She-Hulk. I got like 2 more.
I haven't even started it yet, but it's on my list to get to.
I've got so much that I need to do. Like I like I told you, like I started playing Halo with my brother like last week, and Like I have like I've got so many games. Like I keep getting games, and I get like so far, and then like, oh, this new game's come out, or like I said, I actually Halo Infinite didn't just come out, but I bought it like last year and just never played it. So I
Yeah.
gotta catch up. I got so
Yeah.
much to do, so little time.
Well, I don't think we've got anything else. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of the Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, whether live or running it back, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And then hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a new episode of the Daily Show goes live, it drops, or anything else on the channel that we got going on drops. Again, appreciate it, guys. This is Jackson Law, along with Chad Bauman. We'll see y'all next time.